it is coming up to the end of the month. There was a beautiful position this week on Aussie 200, and there was a position on Aussie 200 last week which I missed. I'll explain the mistake that I made which caused me to miss it. We're just going to go through the trade, through the different entry types and exactly how you could have taken this position yourself. And we're also going to highlight the fact how good the Falcon system actually is, because there were so many different ways to enter this specific position right here. So I'm going to drop a few gems. I'll also show you guys how good the Falcon system actually is. Let's get to Aussie 200. We are at all-time highs, okay? That's our number one negative. Wait, just before we continue with the video. Look, I know you've been trying to learn how to trade for months. You've been searching in the depths of YouTube, consuming content, thinking that you're getting somewhere. You're stuck in a loop of thinking that you found a secret source, feeling happy, then being deflated when you consistently lose money repeatedly to the markets. You see, your issue is that you're consuming unorganized knowledge from people you have no reason to trust. Being an active Falcon member for nearly 3 years now, I was able to achieve consistency through the mentorship of Mark, a multi-million-dollar trader with nearly 2 decades of experience. Imagine the value. You can have this mentorship too. Just click the link in the description and join Falcon today. Is that we are selling at all-time highs. Look, we cannot call the tops because we don't know how far this is going to go up to the upside. For example, just take the S&P. Look how far we've been rallying, and we've been expecting a sell-off, but it just hasn't come yet. So we just take the general price action, and we just take the idea that, look, it could just be a temporary sell-off. So we are a bit more aggressive with our management. So going on a higher time frame, and we're just going to box off. We're just going to box off this section of price action here, right here, because this is all the relevant information we really need. All of this stuff here is not really that much, it doesn't really hold too much importance. So, let's see. Now, analyzing this price action, we can see that price actually tagged this area, and then we extended further with corrective price action. However, this is not just any sort of corrective price action. We can see that we broke out with a 1, 2, and a 3, right? Now, this could still just come back down and form a continuation base for it to go higher. However, as you can see, in both scenarios, even if this is going to rally to the downside, we both have a short-term sell in this scenario back down to these lows. So what we do is we frame the trade and we understand, look, we've got a reversal structure at all-time highs. We've got daily momentum coming in, right? So then we just investigate this consolidation here. Now, with this entry opportunity, let me just count. Okay, so you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you had 5 ways, 6 ways, including the 4-hour entry, 6 ways of entering this structure in itself. So there were 6 trades just within this correction. Now we're going to go through the first one, which was the one that I missed last week, which was this 1, 2, and 3. Now you can see we've got strong, heavy momentum. At these highs, we formed a head and shoulders pan, which indicates a reversal, and we know with head and shoulders pans that it usually replicates the depth of that below it. So as we can see here, we haven't actually met target 1 yet, so we do still have room to the downside from this continuation. Now, I then look at this structure here, and we get this first rejection. So now I'm going to use the bar replay tool just to show you guys exactly what I was looking at. So I was initially forecasting just a normal risk entry from here, which you can take it. However, I'm trading to make money. I'm not trading just to get an entry, because here, as you can see, you've only got 1.4 to 1 down to the bottom of the structure, and then down to here, you've only got 3.3 to 1. So I'm not really too fond of that sort of risk to reward in this sort of range. So what I would want to do is actually place my entry as a limit order here. Right there. Now this, you could do this if the candle is a bit too large and you can't really get a good entry, and that would have changed it. As you can see, look, 3.3 down to that low, and then down to here we got 6.7 to 1. So I like that range a bit more. Having only a 1.4 to 1 down to that low, it's not appealing to me because there's not much reward if I do enter the trade. However, as you can see, price moved away, it didn't give me my entry. And then I removed my entry. I removed my entry when price got around, when price moved away, and I would have been a break even at this point anyway if I did get tagged in. So I left it. I was aware that price could just scoot back up. Any sort of rejection here, I was happy getting in on. So we then get that rejection. Look, it's not the best rejection because we can just fill this wick. However, that is enough for me to just protect my stop above with a like a 20 pip stop. Down to here we got 1.6 to 1. Down to here we got 2.9, and then here we got 6% pretty much. So what happened here is pretty much I actually placed the entry on this, but I didn't realize that I was not on break even on another trade that I took on AUS100. So I removed the order on Aussie 200. However, there was still time within that after I did move my trade on AUS100, I was actually able to enter this because I had removed the risk of the other position. So it was just a bit of a mix up. Is what it is, but I should have been a bit more sharp to get this entry. But how I would have managed this would have been, as you can see, price would have sold off. After it starts wicking at these lows here, I'm going to move that to break even because this is the area that I want to see price break through. Price then breaks through impulsively, then break there, and now I would have actually placed my stop around about here for 1%. You see this high that was created, just around about there. That allows it a bit of room to form this continuation. And if it does tag me out, then I can just re-enter on this 3 touch right here. So this position ended up coming back up for a 1%. So that would have been a 1% win. Now the next couple of entries, they're more so back to back. So there was more so like you positioning yourself in the correct area, you would have been able to catch at least one of them, right? So I didn't have this on watch, but I was observing it and I did shadow trade this position. We see price actually forms a larger continuation, right? It actually extends and forms this 3 touch, as you can see on the 4 hour, this 3 touch structure. Now price actually came up and retested the back end of this head and shoulders. So as you can see, you got this 1, 2, and 3. Now your first entry could have been here on the risk entry. However, with such an impulsive leg, I personally would have waited for an insurance entry. But as you can see here, price develops. Right here, you would have been tagged out, right? So you'd have been tagged out of that one. That is still a possible entry that you could have taken. However, it just would have been higher in risk. I would have waited for a bit more. And as you can see here, we start forming this sort of reversal structure. Now I'm gonna go down to the 15 minutes so we can get a bit more of a closer look to this. I'm gonna remove that. Now, as you can see, you got this 1, 2, and 3. Now, the reason that this is good is because it's giving us an idea, okay, we're likely stalling from here. It's either gonna give us a 1, 2, and 3 for the upside, or if we break below it and form continuation, then we're likely in a continuation to the downside, and this is where the volume of all of this larger structure is about to be triggered to sell off to the downside. So we play this a bit further. You can see here, price formed this 1, 2, 3. However, we then get this scoop double top. Now we wait. And then as we can see here on the 15 minute, we start forming this consolidation. Now this is more visible on the 5 minute. If we do go down to the 5 minute, you can see we have this consolidation right here. This could have been entry number 1, right? From that area. Now I'm just gonna exit this just so you can see where you would have actually got out. You would have got out around about, if you're a bit more aggressive after seeing those rejections, you would have probably got out here for around about 6.2%. However, there was another entry, which was on the 4 hour. Now, the beauty about this is that you can really be hands off with this. You really don't have to manage it too closely. You just set your limit order here, or your entry. Just set your entry here. Stop loss of around about 18 pip stop and getting an 18 pip stop on the 4 hour. Imagine that. So the precision of the Falcon system to understand, to be able to actually enter these positions on such a small stop loss, but you're taking it on such a weighted time frame. So we then have this entry here, and then you would have got out potentially, if you were a bit more lenient, you maybe would have got around about here, or which I would have got out would be around here for 3%. So as you can see there, you do have a couple of different entries here potentially. You had your entry here, 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 yeah, this one, these two here, and then there's also actually this one, which is a bit more simple as well. As you can see, this consolidation here, you could actually take in that as a reduced risk entry on the 1 hour. So entry right here, stop loss just above there. So that's Aussie 200, explaining a lot of like the little intricate details. There are little details that I can't really go too much into, but look how many entries you had in the span of literally what, a week? And it was so easy to just capitalize on one of them. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have Aussie 200 on watch this week. However, I was monitoring it throughout the week. But if you didn't catch that, well, you could have caught the one last week. And then of course, if you didn't catch any of them, there's still an abundance of positions for the rest of the quarter. Look, we're closing off on October. We've got to be sharp as possible. Right now on Falcon, we're actually doing monk month, getting everyone in the community to be as sharp as possible, so that when we do go into the end of the year, on those last 2 months, we make sure that we perform. So that's that.
But what the hell, boy?